It should come as no surprise that alleged journalists like Jake Tapper, who fuels the CNN propaganda machine, have no idea what the definition is for the words that they're choosing to use. Words like sedition, coup, traitors, treason. These are defined words, and it seems like alleged journalists can't find a dictionary to save their own mouths. These same people spent 4 years going after the election of President Donald Trump by pushing a conspiracy theory known as Russiagate, a conspiracy based on lies within the Steele dossier and lies about Carter Page that have been prosecuted in federal court with guilty verdicts, by the way. It's not like a prosecution was brought and they were found not guilty or the charges were dropped. No, the lies about Carter Page, that guy is guilty for lying about Carter Page and leading to this, leading to the independent counsel being appointed and the Russiagate conspiracy being given any time of day at all. But that being said, now they are trying to talk about 12 U.S. senators led by Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, who are standing up and joining with House Republicans in an attempt to challenge the electoral vote count that will happen on January 6th of 2020. Mike Pence, under the Constitution, will collect, count, and read the electoral votes that have been submitted, and at that time, there is an opportunity baked into the 12th Amendment to allow one House member and one senator to challenge the electoral results that are read. Once that challenge is levied, they will go back to their respective houses. They will hold a 2-hour debate, and then they will vote. They will vote at that time on whether to accept or refuse the electors. If both houses vote to accept the electors, they obviously accept them. If both vote to overturn the electors, those electors are removed. If the two houses disagree, then they default back to whatever Mike Pence read and counted. This goes to something called the Pence card, which is a theory that's been thrown around that Mike Pence will read the alternate slates of electors that were sent to him back when the electoral votes were counted. Now, these alternate slates of electors have questionable legality. However, because there's so little case law around this, the possibility still exists that Mike Pence would read the alternate slate of electors, giving Donald Trump an electoral count victory. Will that happen? We'll have to wait and see. It's an outside possibility, and people shouldn't put a lot of stock into the fact that it will happen, but it certainly exists as a possibility, and it poses very interesting legal questions that there are not major answers to. And these legal questions root themselves in a very political process. So there may be no legal judicial remedy anyway, because it involves the balance of powers between elected officials in the House and Senate and elected officials in the executive. So we'll have to just see what happens on January 6th for that. But let's talk a little bit about this and why this is so important to Jake Tapper and why these people are so dang scared of this. And it's easy to see. There are endless stories about now with escalating language about sedition, about treason, but these can't be seditious or treasonous acts. The process for this is baked into the Constitution, and it is checked all over the place. The fact that you only need one House member and one senator to challenge seems like a low bar, yet it's only happened twice in American history, and we've had very, very contentious elections before. But they haven't been challenged like this, except, again, twice in American history, and only one with this level of support. Usually, if there is any sort of challenge or objection at all, it's raised by only one House member or one senator, usually someone who's insane, like Sheila Jackson Lee, for example. But normally, this doesn't ever get off the ground. This year, having this level of support for an electoral challenge is something that Democrats could not even come close to mustering in 2016. This is a rare thing. It's newsworthy, and it has the news media terrified because they have to talk about it. They have to hate it because of ideological purity, and they don't know what to do. So they resort to words like sedition. But sedition much more accurately depicts what the media has been doing over the past 4 years. And to be honest, I don't think it's sedition what they've been doing. I think it's idiocy. But the idea, sedition is promoting or speaking to incite rebellion against a lawful authority. That's the definition of sedition. You cannot do that by engaging with a lawful process that doesn't overthrow or undermine lawful authority. You can't do it. Again, you have to get a House member and a senator. Then you have to go back to chambers and convince a majority of each house to overturn a slate of electors. And then after that, because the electors are removed, once those electors are removed, that could put someone below the threshold and trigger a contingent election, which would then go to the House of Representatives to actually count out, state delegation votes. It's not so simple as just, once some people challenge this, well, Biden's out, Trump's in. Legitimacy of the election overturned. That's not how this works. It's a constitutional process. It's a legal and political hybridized process. It's laid out in constitutional law, but it has political effects and implications and implementation. So it can't be a coup, it can't be treason, and it can't be sedition, especially because Republicans don't hold enough of a majority in the Senate, and they don't hold a majority in the House. So the likelihood of the vote actually succeeding is very low. There would have to be a lot of circumstances that go ahead and lead to this actual vote succeeding. And one of those circumstances would be convincing enough evidence of fraud to get several Democrats to cross the line. And based on partisan purity right now, that seems unlikely as well. But are we surprised at all that these people don't know the definitions of words? Of course not. Or worse yet, they do know the definition of words, and they're just lying. Anyway, if you like these legal and political news updates and hot takes, please hit like, subscribe, share, but most importantly, drop a comment below and tell me what you think about people like Jake Tapper. Tell me what you think about the Republicans. Is it sedition? No, it can't be. But if you feel like it should be sedition, drop it in the comments below and let me know. Talk to you soon. Peace. Peace.